Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you What If Naruto Broke His Human Limiter Part 8. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was an Exile Saiyan trained by Vados. And also over Anime Prince, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Strongest Hero in My Hero Academy. So go ahead, check out that and enjoy as well guys. And remember, if you're new, yes, I did have 4 channels: Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime Prince, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this right away guys. Start now. So the last time we left off, Aoi Rokusho was having a good day, that is until this thing appeared. He couldn't even be described as a human. Aoi was not that weak. After all, in the bingo book he was listed as a A-rank missing of Konoha because he stole the Thunder God Blade. He had used the younger brother of Ibiki Marino and stealing the blade. However, now he was caught by this Konoha kid. Yes, that is what he was, just a small kid. Aoi had thrown everything that he had, thrown every jutsu, thrown every strongest attack. However, nothing seemed to even faze the child. The more he threw, the more the child simply smiled at him. Aoi was confused. Was this some kind of joke? Was Kami looking down at him and just laughing or something? Maybe this was a Shinigami in disguise. It must be, as Aoi ran for his life as fast as possible. However, Naruto was ahead of him, as Naruto had enough as he knocked him out and dragged him back. Over the past 2 weeks, Naruto had been going around the Elemental Nation collecting all the B and A rank bounties. He had gathered the attention from all major nations and even some smaller ones. At the stone, at Kumo, at Kiri, at the sand, everyone was wondering who this mysterious bounty hunter was that eliminated all bounty from B to A. As Naruto had gathered quite a large sum of money over the past 2.5 weeks, it has been rather amazing. However, the nations now got their eyes on him, wondering who exactly it is. As Naruto didn't really care for that. However, the council at Konoha want to know exactly what was he. It made no sense for a genin to be able to do all of this. So that is why Hiruzen and Sarutobi had to sit down with them and spill the beans on exactly what Naruto was. When they heard that the Hokage was even second-guessing himself of being able to defeat Naruto, the members were shocked. Yes, they knew that he was strong from the exam, but this was ridiculous. The Hokage must be joking, right? However, there was no sense of joking on his face in the slightest. Just how powerful was this kid? Some more time passed as Naruto arrived home. As Naruto made his way, he noticed that more people were looking at him in the streets. However, he chose to just blot that out, not knowing that it was for a completely different reason. He's made quite the name for himself as he arrived home to Kagura. Getting home, Naruto realized that someone was there for him. Yes, it was Kagura, as Naruto was beyond happy to have someone there. As he was happy, as she told him to go and wash up. She has been here for the past few weeks now. However, there was something that she was keeping away from Naruto. From what she was able to see in his mind, she was able to find out who his parents were when she visited the Hokage's office. Hiruzen begged her not to tell Naruto anything yet. And she was also worried. She told Hiruzen more about what she saw in Naruto's mind. She didn't know how he was holding it back, but it seemed to be tied to his emotional state or his conscious state. There was something dark inside of him, something that she feared for this world if it was ever released. As Harrison started to panic a bit, he had to find a way to tell Naruto calmly about his parents, knowing that the backlash of that might be hard on the young one, knowing that his parents was Minato and Kushina and he's been through so much. As Harrison had to go to the council to tell them what he had to say, the members were frightened by that. To think that he can be so powerful and have this fragile state, they had to be careful on how they were going to approach this. Jiraiya came by as he wanted to take Naruto on as apprentice. He showed Naruto the Rasengan, however, Naruto copied it almost instantly. The fox had told him that something with his body allowed him to make movements or chakra or something like that. He didn't really remember what the fox said, but Jiraiya was shocked as Naruto was able to create a Rasengan. However, his was red in a matter of seconds. Still, if he would like to stay and have some dinner, Naruto told him that he could stay. All Jiraiya wanted was to be a part of the kid's life. After all, he's been absent for the longest time now. So the time flew by rather quickly, as everyone was gathered. They were all here to see the participants of the chunin exams. The people down there was gathered as Naruto was dreading his first match because of who it was with. It was with Kurasaki. Meanwhile, up in the stands, Gaara was greeted by Kunai as she was told to come over with them. As Kunai introduced her to Asuma and the others, as she greeted all of them well. Naruto was happy that she was making some friends as well, as he didn't want her to feel lonely either. After all, he's not going to be there all the time. As a big smile came on his face, however, he was forced to face Kurasaki. Unknown to Kurasaki and Naruto are the Tsuchikage. One person was watching their interaction very keenly, and that was Tsubaki. Tsubaki seemed to have a little crush on Kurasaki or something, and she heard about what Kurasaki did with that leaf shinobi, and that angered her. As she would have to find a way to make sure that never happens again, even if it meant telling the Tsuchikage what happened, to make sure that Kurasaki is banned from ever visiting Konoha. Yes, that seemed to be the only source of action that she could take right now, because she couldn't allow that idiotic leaf shinobi to fester and mess with her mentality. He was just trying to use her, and Tsubaki knew it. The match below started as Kurasaki did not face Naruto gaze, as he did not either. However, the problem was, the both of them were feeling strange feelings rushing to them. Kurasaki has tried for the past month to make sure that she did not fester anything towards him, to make sure that she did not care about him, but after a few seconds standing here with him, talking to him, those feelings all came flooding back. As she gave up, not in the match but in denying this, because if she did, she was gonna implode from the inside. They will have to talk after this and find some way to sort out these feelings. Hearing that, Naruto was beyond overjoyed. As they were still in a match though, as he knocked her out rather quickly, this with a simple chop to the neck, as she was taken off to the infirmary. Everyone was shocked by the display of strength and speed that he showed. As he was already getting the promotion, everyone could see that he was far above everyone here. Not to mention, they heard about his exploits during the Elemental Nation, and there were several spies there to watch and see what he was truly capable of. However, Orochimaru had his own plan, as he had killed the Kazekage who wanted to step out of the mission to attack Konoha. He had ordered the Sand Ninjas to kill Naruto Uzumaki, because that boy was a threat who had to be taken care of. So yeah guys, basically that's what I left off. You guys can switch across the place, check of yourself, and when you begin this new episode guys, start now. Oniki was currently in the Kage's boots, as he was thinking over that match down below. Not about the frightening speed and strength from the Uzumaki, however, the reaction that his granddaughter had with him. Something happened between them that he just couldn't wrap his head around. There was nothing verbally said or shown, however, he noticed that the acting between the both of them seemed rather strange, and it frankly didn't make much sense. Granted, they should not really know one another. As he wondered what Kurasaki had been up to, he noticed that she dropped her guard around him. She left herself completely vulnerable. If Uzumaki wanted to end her right there and then, he could have, because she just left herself wide open to any attack or anything that he had to say. While Oniki could not fully hear what he had to say, he noticed the way he was looking at her and the way she made him smile, as he wondered just what is going on. Down below, Tsubaki was furious. So furious in fact that her fist clenched so tight as a small drop of blood started to leave her palm as she dug her hands into her own. She was angry. Tsubaki always saw Kurasaki as a perfect person. She was the perfect person in her eyes. A person that could not be unblemished or stopped by anything. She had a crush on her since she was a young kid. When she first met her, Kurasaki had saved her from a couple of bullies. And since then she has been hanging out with her and she became her best friend. A small childlike crush turned into grown-up love. Yes, she loved her. There was no one that could deny her feelings for Kurasaki. She knew that she was a girl as well, but it didn't matter. She loved her. And nothing would change that. And yet, this damn blonde-haired freak of nature came and tried to steal her away. They spoke about this in the off time that they had. Kurasaki made up her mind that she would not go for him, but now she was acting so friendly and so nice to him. Did something change? She brutally slammed her fist in the chair. There was a lot of rage on her face. Even while the other matches went down below, she did not care about them. She did not even glance down there. She was downright furious. As the matches played on, she knew that she had to do something. She had to. If she did not, she would lose her. And she couldn't afford to do that. She glanced up towards the Kage's boot as she clenched her fist once more. Meanwhile, down below, Neji had just won his match, as a few matches had taken place, leaving a few participants left. There was only Temari, Neji, Naruto, Sasuke, Gaara, and Shino that remained. Sasuke arrived not long ago as he defeated the last male member of the Hidden Stone. Meanwhile with Baki was looking around as he was waiting for the signal. His Kazekage has been acting strange lately, but he cropped it up to stress because of this invasion. Most of the Sand Ninjas were given a specific mission. Their job was to kill Naruto, Uzumaki. That was their job. He was a big thorn in the side of the Sand and the whole operation, so he had to die. They were supposed to use their best effort to make sure that he died. He made sure to inform his team of this. The bloodlusting look on Gaara's face when he heard that. It was one of pure happiness and joy. Gaara really wanted to kill Naruto, so that was a plus in their book. However, Baki couldn't shake this strange feeling that something was wrong. That child has proven to be quite dangerous. However, they had more than a few strong ninjas here, and they could overwhelm him and take him down. Yes, he was strong, but he was not that strong, Baki thought to himself. He did not know how wrong he was. Meanwhile that was going on, there was a small break to allow the contestants to take a breather. Orochimaru did not call the invasion yet because he was waiting. As he was waiting for everything to go perfectly, Uzumaki will face off against Gaara, and he needed to see just a small outcome of that battle before he called anything yet. So for now he would just play his part and talk small talk to the other Kages, making sure that everything was ready. Kabuto was in his position, the Sound 4 was ready. They had to make sure that they were ready for what is to come, because Orochimaru had this nagging feeling in his guts. However, Orochimaru already saw Uzumaki's weakness, and that was love. Two people he saw already. That strange Hyuga woman. Her eyes looked more clearer than the normal Byakugan. And the girl from the stone. He had no idea what the Konohan stone ninjas are doing together. However, it seems like Uzumaki is not fully with his village if he's speaking so friendly and smiling with that stone ninja. Perhaps he has a crush on her. Stupid childish crush and love. Orochimaru made sure to capitalize on that. Meanwhile, in the medical center that was set up for the participants, the doctor that checked on Kurasaki left soon after. She was fine, a few bruises but nothing too bad. It seems like her opponent went out of his way to make sure that she was not harmed. That is when he arrived. She knew that he would come here. Sorry about that, said Naruto as he rubbed the back of his head. You know, I always keep on forgetting that. You're really strong, she said. Well, what can I say? I'm just awesome. Don't get ahead of yourself, she said to him, as Naruto chuckled as he walked over and pulled up a chair. Aren't you supposed to be fighting, she asked. They're giving us a small break, but I'm next though. I'll be facing off against Gaara, said Naruto, seeing that he was the last competitor of this round, and I was the first. Gaara, she said. Yeah, he's a bit psychotic, but I can take him, said Naruto. I don't doubt that one bit, she said. I doubt any of the Genins here can actually beat you in a fight. Besides, I know for a certain that I'm stronger than most of them, and yet, you took me down that easily. You can probably take on some Jonins as well, can't you, she said. Well, I am freakishly strong, said Naruto. I guess you're right, she said that chuckle. So, about what I said earlier. Yeah, said Naruto. You were right. I tried to push you away because I know that there is a possibility of us together might not work. But despite all of that, despite the months of mental training to ignore you, the moment I saw you again, she reached up and punched him in the shoulder. As he just kept on looking at her, you brought all of those damn feelings back. Isn't that a good thing? He asked her. Yes and no, she said. Look, we're from two different villages. And not to mention the granddaughter of a Tishikage. How exactly are we going to make it work? As Naruto was quiet. I'm asking you, she said, because I don't know either. As Naruto lowered his head, I knew that this was going to be a problem, he said. However, this feeling that I have for you, I'm not ashamed to say that I love you, said Naruto. That made her cheeks become a big pink. As she tried to look away, feeling all flustered now. As he took one of her hands. I don't know how to describe it. When you end things between us, I felt like my heart had been ripped out of my chest. And I felt so muted to any sort of feelings. Anger, hate, sadness, happiness. I tried my best to fake it, however. You were always on my mind, said Naruto. And now that you're back, try to give this a chance. I feel elated. Filled with joy, he said to her. I know it might sound soppy, or a bit stingy, however, I just can't explain it. She took his hand. I know what you mean, she said. She held on to him. But before she could say something, they heard a footstep. She turned her gaze as a tent opened up to show her grandfather. She turned back, but Naruto was already gone, making her breathe a sigh of relief. Kurasaki, he said. His tone was stern. She pulled herself up in the small bed that she was in. What's up, old man? However, he was looking at her with a serious gaze. I'm going to ask you this once, and only once, and I will not repeat myself. What's wrong, she said. Play the innocent card. Is there something going on between you and the Konoha shinobi known as Naruto Uzumaki? No, she said. She answered quickly as she looked into his eyes. She did not even blink, as she kept her composure as best she could. He then walked over. I noticed the way you were acting with him in the arena. I was just thanking him for saving me again. You remember from what happened. Despite him being a Konoha shinobi, he did save my life. And he's not really a bad guy. It doesn't matter. We do not fraternize with Konoha shinobi. But if it wasn't for him, I would be dead. Yes, and while I'm grateful, I will say this again, we do not fraternize with Konoha shinobi. Do you understand me? He was not joking around this time. This was not her playful grandfather who she joked with. This was her Tishikage giving her order. You are my legacy. You hope to succeed me one day. If that will be the case, you cannot bring shame to the name of Tishikage. Do you understand? He said to her. She nodded her head. Good, he said. I spoke to the doctor. Everything was fine in your checkup, so you can come, he said. She pulled herself out of bed as he turned and walked away. As she was leaving, she noticed Naruto with a sad look on his face. And she blinked, he was gone. She sighed to herself as she walked off, following her grandfather. It's not like she didn't care about Naruto a lot, but this is why she was afraid to start anything with him. Her grandfather didn't really like Konoha in the slightest. To know that they were trying to take his granddaughter away, that angered him to no extent. As they were brought back, as she made her way towards where Tsubaki and Akisaki was. Akisaki was fine now. He didn't take that much damage. Are you okay? Tsubaki asked her. Yeah, I'm fine. You don't look fine. I said I'm fine. Just drop it, said Kurasaki. Alright, said Tsubaki. She turned her gaze as Kurasaki had just yelled at her a bit. However, in her mind, all of this was to blame on that blonde freak. She clenched her fist in rage. Up in the stands, Sasuke saw as Naruto returned. However, Naruto did not make any small talk. He simply went into the corner and sat down. None of them had an answer how they were going to make this work. How would they? Her grandfather didn't seem to like Konoha Shinobi in the slightest. Down in the stands, Kagura glanced up towards where Naruto was, her eyes focusing on where he was. Her byakugan coming to life as she saw him, as he looked rather depressed. She wanted to go to talk to him, but this was not the time as the second phase of the exams began. Gaara was rather happy. It was finally time that he end Uzumaki and erase him once and for all. He had the clear go-ahead to kill him, so there was nothing to hold him back, not that anyone could stop him from accomplishing his goals by killing Uzumaki. As Sasuke looked towards Naruto, Dope, he said. However, Naruto did not pay him any attention. It's your turn, Dope, he said once again. As Naruto finally glanced up, Sasuke looked down towards him worriedly. He seemed sad. Sasuke wanted to ask, but he held himself back from doing so, as he just looked away as Naruto picked up himself. As Naruto calmly made his way down there, his mind in deep thought, he took a breath. He would sort it out after the exam was finished. For right now, he had to focus on this fight. As he arrived down there to see Gaara, with that usual grin on his face, everyone was a bit quiet. As they were preparing for this first match, Sino easily took down Kurasaki. Most were expecting to do the same. Let's see if it was dumb luck, or if he's really that powerful, Orochimaru said in his disguise. I doubt it was dumb luck, Hiruzen said, as he had full faith and confidence in Naruto. However, he saw that Naruto looked rather sad. Are the both of you ready? The proctor asked. Mother, we'll feast on your blood, said Gaara. However, Naruto ignored him. Yeah, I'm ready, he said. The moment he said that, the proctor gave the go-ahead as he jumped away. San did not seem to hesitate as it shot from Gaara's gort. The powerful sand in his gort shot forward. However, Naruto seemed to backpedal, as Gaara tried to hit him, but no matter what he did, he could not. What's wrong, Uzumaki? Are you afraid? Where is that loud talk of yours? Last time we met, you weren't so quiet. Afraid of your death. Naruto glanced up. Did you say something? He asked. That seemed to piss Gaara off even more, as Kakashi felt a feeling of joy hearing that, as Guy went on a rant, saying that his student was just like him. Kakashi turned. Did you say something? Guy deflated at that. Down below, Gaara was getting more angry as his hand turned into hands, trying to grab Naruto, but he kept on evading all of them. Wow, Naruto is fast, Ino said. He's a lot faster than that. He seemed to be holding himself back a lot this time. Since when did you two get so buddy-buddy together? Asked Ino as she looked towards Sakura. I told you before, Naruto isn't a bad guy. You just have to get to know him. Just because he didn't hang out with most of us in the academy, it doesn't mean that he's a bad person. In fact, he's one of the sweetest person I know. He's caring, and would go out of his way most time to make sure that you're okay. Huh. Sounds like you have a crush on him. It's not like that. He's just my friend. What about Sasuke? You haven't spoke about Sasuke in a long while now, Ino said. Yeah, you're right, said Sakura, as she was now just realizing that. Up in the contestant booth, Tamaru was paying close attention. None of Gaara's strikes were hitting home. She glanced towards Uchiha. She saw that he seemed furious. What? Shouldn't you be happy that your teammate is winning? Sasuke gave her a glare, but he said nothing, as he turned his attention back towards the fight. The curse mark on his neck seemed to be pulsing slightly. Jealousy was too much right now. Sasuke was angry that Naruto was so powerful. He needed that strength if he was ever going to defeat Itachi. Down below, stay still, said Gaara, frustration finally reaching a boiling point. However, Naruto simply laughed and wagged his finger. You're gonna have to be a lot faster than that, buddy, said Naruto. As Naruto then blurred out of sight, before he tapped Gaara on the shoulder. Gaara spun around as there was nothing there. There was another tap as he spun. Gaara started to get freaked out, his sand was not reacting fast enough. That is when Naruto stood beside him. Gaara turned as Naruto turned with him. The people in the stands, some of them started to find it rather hilarious as Naruto turned and disappeared every time his sand moved up, as he openly mocked Gaara. As Gaara spun around before he released a wave of sand from all points. However, Naruto was in mid-air. Everyone was shocked. Was he flying? Naruto was flapping his hands like a bird. That's impossible, one of the random Jonin said. Is he really generating that much air pressure with just flapping his hands like that? How powerful is this kid, another one said. Kurenai turned towards Kakashi. What can I say? He's my prized pupil, said Kakashi, as he said nothing more after that. As Naruto then spun his body. He spun so fast that Gaara's stand started to be sucked up. Shocking the participants, Gaara's stand was pulled out of his control as Naruto spun, creating a literal twister before he threw it right towards Gaara. The compact twister of sand slammed Gaara right into the wall, as he simply slipped off of it. Gaara picked up himself even more ferocious than before. How dare you try to take mother away from me? I will rip you apart. Who is this mother you keep on speaking of, said Naruto, as he was standing in front of Gaara, who stepped back in confusion and fear. That is when Gaara, sand lashed out. It turned into a pointed edge trying to pierce through Naruto's chin. However, Naruto grabbed the sand, but it quickly melted away in his hand and wrapped around his body as it constricted his movements. Now I have you, said Gaara. Several spears made from sand appeared as they tightened into one spot. Oh no, said Ino. He's about to get skewered. Sakura waved her off. Like I said, Naruto is a lot stronger than you think. The people held their breath, the ones that knew him of course, as the others wondered if he was going to die here. The kid had shown promise. The Jonins and the Chunins had been taking notice in him ever since he began his bounty hunting, while most of the villagers still tried to act like they weren't impressed. It was still a sight to see. All the skewers came down, however, they hit nothing, as Naruto appeared in front of Gaara, leaving his sand cocoon like it was nothing. Naruto then raised his hand up in the air before he chopped Gaara on the shoulder. Gaara's head smashed right into the ground. The force crushed his body into it, creating a small crater at their feet. Everyone was speechless as Naruto brushed the sand off him. It was fun, but it was starting to get boring, he said. The moment he said that, feathers started to fall. It was then that explosions went off. Gigantic explosions as the wall gave way. Orochimaru could not summon a snake, even if his life depended on it. The most he could do was use his Senijashu out of his sleeve or use the snakes from his mouth that was made from his chakra. However, summoning snakes from the Reiko Cave was no longer accessible to him after he allowed that monster to enter their home and slaughter the lot of them. As for Gaara, he was knocked out cold, as Naruto did not know what that was about to bring out. However, Naruto was confused. The Genjutsu was not affecting him in the slightest. Such weak chakra could not enter his system, especially given the amount of fox chakra that he had going through his system. Up in the stands, Kagura picked herself up as someone rushed towards her from behind. A kunai in hand, the sound shinobi tried to pierce her from behind. Behind you, Kurunai yelled. However, she simply tilted her body as he passed by. She then hit him right in the neck as his eyes rolled back in the back of his head as he collapsed. Two jumped at Kurunai as she held out her hand. There was a force that came from Kagura's hand that blasted them away as they crashed into the stadium. Kurunai was surprised, never expecting her to be this strong. Her Byakugan wasn't even activated. Another one tried to hit her, however she ducked. Before she hit him twice in the stomach, he keeled over. She then poked another one in the forehead, sending chakra through his head as he collapsed. Shocked by this new display of strength, Kurunai didn't want to be shown up though, so she used her genjutsus as she started quickly placing several ninjas underneath them. It seems we're being invaded, Kakashi. Well then, it's time I protect our home, said Guy as he jumped into action. As for Naruto, he noticed that the girl with the fan jumped down. She picked up Gaara. As Gaara seemed to be stirring, however, she had this frightful look on her face. What's going on, said Naruto, however she jumped away from him. That is when the ground opened up as a strange puppet came from the ground and wrapped around Naruto. Its body seemed to be made like a centipede. That is when hordes of sand ninjas jump into the fray, wind and fire style, coming from at least half a dozen. From one end, half a dozen to the other side, and behind Naruto and to the other side. He was surrounded as they all launched their techniques. The fire and wind mixed together to cause a colossal explosion that tremor the entire area. Looking down below, Kagura had her Byakugan focus on where Naruto was hit. Oh no, said Kunai, as she was about to assist him. However, her hand was grabbed. What are you doing? As she looked up towards Kagura. Going down there will only get you hurt, but he's completely fine, said Kagura. What? Coughing could be heard as Naruto stepped out of the smoke. His shirt was completely torn to pieces. His pants had torn and tatters in it. What was that, he said. You guys just attacking me out of the blue. I thought we were supposed to be allies. Several of them stepped back in shock, sweat on their face. Meanwhile, up in the Kage's booth, the entire thing went up in smoke. Oniki quickly made his way through the window after destroying it. As he flew off to find Kurasaki, however, she was nowhere to be seen. He arrived to see the unconscious Tsubaki being picked up by Akisaki. Where's Kurasaki, he said, as Akisaki looked up with a worried look on his face. That is when a monstrous explosion of chakra was felt. Everyone turned their gaze to see the giant Shikaku off in the distance. Down below, Naruto was still surrounded by a few sand ninjas, however, he was paying them no mind. Whoa, what is that, he said. The fox spoke up. That would be the one-tailed beast, the Shikaku. So this is their plan, to use the one tail to destroy the village. Not on my watch, said Naruto, as he cracked the ground as he bent his knees. Before he blasted off, ninjas were sent sailing. As for Shikaku, he screamed in delight. I'm free! Down below, Temari and Kankuro were currently trying to get away from the onslaught that was gonna crush them until, BAM! Something landed right in Shikaku's face as he fell back, collapsing right on his back as Naruto stood right on his nose. Hey there, he said. Shikaku looked up. You're the one that got out of my sand that I wanted to crush. Sorry about that, said Naruto, but I can't allow you to destroy the village. Shikaku laughed like a child as he seemed to be in delight. Now that I'm here myself, I'll crush you, he said, as he gripped Naruto with both of his hands and started pressing together. As Naruto could feel pressure adding to himself. Whoa, you are a bit strong, but... As Naruto flexed his muscles before tearing out of Shikaku's hand. As Naruto grabbed his left hand before he stomped down. Shikaku roared in pain as Naruto ripped his arm clean off, before he slammed it right into Shikaku. Shikaku's tail appeared and bat Naruto right through the ear. Naruto slammed through countless trees. Shikaku picked himself back up. I'll annihilate you, he said as he lifted his head to the sky, gathering a colossal amount of energy. It didn't take long for a gigantic black ball to be in front of him, full with nothing but unstoppable power, over in Konoha. What the hell is that? Konoha shinobis were frightened at that prospect of slamming there. The amount of energy they felt as the thing started to tear through the ground. Damn it, said Jiraiya as he rushed towards the location. He had to make it, as he flashed through handstand, that's until he saw the beast fired the bomb. His eyes went wide. However, Naruto jumped right in front of it, before he slammed his hands right into the bomb, causing the thing to explode. A gigantic blast swept through Konoha. Trees and walls were crumbled and destroyed. Bodies were thrown, ninjas were sent sailing. Shikaku laughed in delight. What a foolish child, thinking that you can stop my Biju bomb. The next time you bam! Shikaku was cut off as a fist blew a hole cleanly through him. A gaping hole where his stomach once was. As the edges started to break apart, causing him to collapse in half. Shikaku was speechless and shocked, as he could not understand. Standing on top of his face was none other than Naruto. He wasn't wearing a speck of clothing as he was completely naked. Wow, that was awesome, he said. The only thing that was on him was a few scratches. In any other situation, I would love to play with you some more, however, this is not it. Stay right here, said Naruto, as he burst off in blinding speeds. He came back within a few seconds fully dressed, black pants and black shirts. Shikaku was about to say something. Let's see you survive one of my strong attacks, said Naruto, as he pressed and jumped straight up in the sky. Shikaku would only look up in fright as Naruto brought his fist down. Serious punch, times 5, said Naruto. His fist came down 5 times as he annihilated Shikaku's body completely. The attack sent Gaara sailing as his head slammed into a tree, enough to wake him up as Gaara collapsed. A small droplet of blood leaking from his forehead. Gaara looked around confused. Boom! Naruto decimated the ground as he landed. Hey there, said Naruto. How did you? Gaara started to back away. No, stay away from me, he said. After just transforming, his chakra system was a mess right now. Shikaku was forcibly sent back in. As Naruto stepped forward before he moved, Gaara tensed up until Naruto hugged him. Gaara was confused as Naruto patted him on the back. Now I understand you a lot better. Gaara's body was stiffened as he did not move. You've been through a lot with you being a tail beast holder as well, haven't you? I am just like you. I contain the 9 tails, the most powerful tail beast in history. Gaara was confused by this feeling that he was getting. As he had a question though. Is that the reason why you're so strong? Nah, not really. I train a lot, said Naruto. But I guess it's also because I want to protect the people that are close to me. Yeah, that too, said Naruto. So in order to do that, I have to be super strong. But you're just like me, that meant you went through bad experiences as a child, didn't you? Gaara said nothing, but Naruto already knew. Don't worry. All you need is a friend, said Naruto. And I'll be your friend. You'll be my friend? Yeah. Us Jinchurikis have to stick together after all. So I'll become your friend, Gaara, said Naruto. Why? Said Gaara. I tried to kill you. Maybe it's because I understand what it feels like to be alone. And also have no one there to help you in these horrible situations. And as I said, you're just like me, so how about it, said Naruto, placing a hand on both of his shoulders. Want to be my friend? Gaara nodded his head without saying a word. That is when Temari and Kankuro arrived. As Naruto turned towards them, Temari looked towards him with a fearful expression, thinking that he was here to kill them. Don't worry, said Naruto. Me and Gaara sorted things out, and we're friends now, he said, throwing a hand on Gaara's shoulder. Friends? Kankuro said, confused. Yep, said Naruto. At that moment, Baki landed there. As he saw Naruto, he instantly became tense. We're not your enemies, he said. We were tricked by Orochimaru Sanin. Naruto tilted his head. Are you talking to me? Yes. Don't hurt him, said Baki. Oh, I'm not gonna hurt Gaara, said Naruto. You say Orochimaru tricked you. Where is he? He's fighting your Hokage. Really? That guy was the one that escaped from me in the forest of death. Well, I guess I'll see you soon, Gaara. Knowing that you were tricked now, I can safely say that the stand is no longer an enemy. But you, said Naruto, pointing towards Baki. Tell your ninjas to stand down before I have to knock them out and throw them toward the sand myself. We're already retreating, said Baki. As the man was afraid. This child was a beast. Something that could not be stopped. That is when Naruto heard someone call out his name. As Naruto looked to see a tired Sakura. As Naruto saw that she was bleeding, he rushed towards her and caught her. She ran with all of her might to get out here so quickly, seeing that they were a far distance away. She was exhausted. Sakura, what are you doing out here? Your friend, she said. The one from the hidden stone. She was attacked by a group of the guys with the musical note, the hidden sound. They knocked her out and took her away. Before Naruto could answer, you! The Tishikage arrived. What did you do with Kurasaki? As Naruto paid him no mind. As he allowed Sakura to talk, they rushed off with her a few minutes ago. I know that you wouldn't be happy if you never get to see her again, so go. Go and save her. I'm talking to you, said Oniki. As Naruto picked up Sakura. I'll get you back home first, he said. There was no jovial look on his face. However, the earth erupted as Naruto's foot was captured. Oniki stood there. As Naruto shrugged it off. I'm not in the mood, said Naruto. If you're wondering, your granddaughter has been captured by these hidden sound ninjas. What? Where is she? I'll go find her, said Naruto. You expect me to leave her fate in your hands? You, a Konoha ninja? Yes, said Naruto. Oniki flew in front of him. I'm not gonna ask you to move, old man, said Naruto, but you should know this. You can't stop me. So you either trust me, or I go through you to find her. Oniki was appalled by that threat. Do you know who I am, child? He asked. Yeah. And as of this moment, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna save her. And there's nothing on this literal planet that can stop me from doing so. So trust me or not, I don't really care now. Move! The moment Naruto said that word, Oniki saw something different. He saw this strange entity behind the child. Its face was blank. What he saw was a void of nothing but utter darkness. Oniki felt a chill went up his spine. It was like his whole entire being was frozen. As Naruto rushed past him. Naruto rushed past Akisaki and Tsubaki along the way, but he did not stop. Back in the arena, Kagura-chan said Naruto. Kagura turned and she saw Naruto. Oh, Naruto-kan, she said. You changed. We don't have time, said Naruto. I need you to watch over Sakura, and I also need to use her Byakugan to tell me where is Kurasaki. You mean the stone Kunoichi? Yes, said Naruto. Some sound ninjas took her. She activated her Byakugan as she scanned the area. It took her a few seconds. I found her, she said. The moment she pointed, Naruto was gone. Several sound ninjas were sent sailing as Naruto blurred past them. Meanwhile, two sound ninjas were making their way, one of them carrying Kurasaki. Orochimaru-sama had gave them a special job. It took 5 of them to knock the girl out. She took down 2 of them. However, they were able to caught her off guard, given a cramped space in the arena. She was a strong one for her age. However, they got her, and it was their job to bring her back toward the sound. And to make sure that she doesn't end up back in the hands of Konoha or Uzumaki Naruto. Boom! They had to stop as something crash landed in front of them. As Naruto stepped out of smoke, where the hell do you think you're going? The one that was carrying her turned as he shot off, however. His partner got grabbed as Naruto grabbed his leg, before he proceeded to bash his head into the ground. The next one was stopped. As he was trying to run, however, his feet were off the ground as Naruto lifted him up by the shirts. Before he threw him, as Naruto had already dislodged Kurasaki from him, the guy smashed into a tree. Naruto checked her over, however, there wasn't even a scratch on her. That brought a smile to his face. The guy that he threw was trying to get up, however, Naruto grabbed both of his legs as he placed Kurasaki down. Before he snapped them, the guy cried out in pain as Naruto picked Kurasaki up. He blurred back towards his home. Arriving, Naruto opened the door and made his way inside, as he brought her to his room and set her down on his bed. He then proceeded to lock the door as he rushed out as fast as possible. She would be safe there. Naruto appeared in front of the guy as he picked him up by the throat. Why? Were you trying to take her away? I'm not telling you shit. As Naruto applied pressure to his throat. The guy was turning blue as Naruto released him. Answer me. No. Naruto slapped him on the hand as it was a cracking sound as all the bones in his hands was broken. The guy cried out in pain as Naruto covered his mouth. Before he reached and grabbed the guy's nose as he started to squeeze. Crack! Answer me, said Naruto, as he had no idea why they went after her. The guy still wasn't answering. Naruto brought his hand down. Because of his frustration, slice! Its hand tear right through the guy's shoulder like a knife going through butter. However, Naruto did not hear at this moment. "Answer me!" he shouted. The guy was at a loss. His body was in such pain, and not to mention the fear, it forced him to speak. It was like he was in some sort of trance. "Orochimaru-sama sent us to take her down because he wanted to use her against you as a bargaining chip. And if you did not do as we say, he was gonna kill her." Hearing that, Naruto lost it. The snake Sanin wanted to kill her because he wanted to use her against him? Why? Why would he go after her just because of him? To hurt someone that he cared about? Who gives him the right? As Naruto's fist clenched, the ground started to crack as Naruto applied pressure without even noticing. Who the hell gives him the right to go after someone he cared about and try to take her away? The guy in front of him said something, however, Naruto gripped him and turned before he launched him. The guy was thrown to who knows where. As Naruto turned his gaze towards Konoha, the next few seconds he was on top of the roof. The envoys turned as they saw him. However, what Naruto saw baffled him. As Naruto saw the body of the third line there, unmoving, Naruto didn't understand. Why was the old man just lying there like that? Why was he not getting up? As Naruto noticed Orochimaru, but his mind was mostly focused on the old man. Naruto stepped forward. "Wait!" one of the envoys shouted, as Naruto's hand plunged into the barrier. The barrier was supposed to incinerate whoever that tried to touch it or tried to breach it. However, the barrier was being torn apart. The Sound Force started sweat. "What the hell is this guy?" said Teiwaya, as they could not stop him. They pumped their chakra, however, they could not, as Naruto tore it open. However, it fixed right behind him in a second, so the envoys could not get in. Orochimaru, who was there, backed away, as Naruto walked over and dropped to his knees. He shook him. "Old man. Old man," he said, trying to wake him up. However, he just wouldn't wake up. "No. No, 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 no," said Naruto. He snapped his gaze up, his eyes turning red. "What have you done?" he said, his voice cracking the barrier. Orochimaru stepped back, his head going dizzy. You can't be dead," said Naruto, as he rolled the old man over. Orochimaru saw his opportunity as he picked up a blade with his mouth and brought it down to sever Naruto's head clean off. But the blade cracked. As Naruto slowly picked himself up, Orochimaru backed away. "Drop the barrier," he yelled. Where bam! Naruto's hand burst right through the snake Sanin's guts. The force of the punch shattered the barrier. Orochimaru was baffled. A gaping hole right through him as Naruto proceeded to rip him apart. However, Orochimaru used a large quantity of the last amount of chakra he had left to emerge from his mouth. But the moment he did so, his body dropped down to the ground. He was weakened towards a point where he could not even move. However, Drobo grabbed him because Naruto did not move. As Naruto started to twitch a bit, it seems uncontrollable. As the envoys stepped towards him, a few of them going after Orochimaru and his man. However, Naruto's face seems unresponsive. It was then that they felt it. A feeling of death. It felt like the Shinigami himself had gripped their chests, reached in, and gripped their hearts. As Naruto glanced up, his eyes were red, his face was blank. A grin came on his face before he shot off. His mind was cloudy. All he wanted was to kill them. To kill them all. Drobo saw the incoming as he tossed his master towards Seikon. He had no other choice. He stopped himself as he channeled a large amount of chakra into his hand and swinged it. However, Naruto swung his own fist. When the two fists collide, Drobo's left hand was blown clean off. The entire left side of his body was just blown away as Naruto lifted him up before he punched him in the chest, causing the entire thing to explode outwards. The Sound 4 was baffled as they were still running. Teiwaya pulled her flute and started to play. However, Naruto simply jumped at her before he gripped her and squeezed her. She cried out in pain as her spine snapped. Her body went limp in his hand as he threw her right into a building, her body breaking it down as she was tossed like a doll. Kidomaru quickly threw several of his webs towards Naruto as they wrapped around him. However, he simply tore them off like they were paper. He fired several arrows. However, Naruto simply walked through them before he appeared in front of Kidomaru. Pathetic, he said, even his voice sounded off. Let's see where the source is located, said Naruto as he saw Kidomaru making the fluid from his mouth. Squash! Naruto's hand went right into his throat. Kidomaru's eyes widened in shock. Its speed, as Naruto's hand had went through the back of his skull, going through his mouth and going through his skull, as he held on to something before he squashed it, which was Kidomaru's brain, as he tossed him aside like he was a rag doll. The only one that was left was Seikon and Ukon. They quickly split. Ukon quickly carrying his master away while Seikon tried to go through hand sign rather quickly as he slammed his hand down. Rashomon! BAM! Naruto punched right through it before he walked through and gripped Seikon by the throat, lifting him off the ground. Seikon used his mutated arm to slam in Naruto's face. You call that a punch, said Naruto. Let me show you a punch. Take this for size. Serious punch. Seikon was sent sailing, his body breaking through the natural speed of sound, breaking the sound speed as he was sent sailing before. All that could be seen was a twinkle. Orochimaru, who had regained enough strength to actually move by that point, threw Ukon away behind him to slow Naruto down. While his arms were useless, he still had some techniques to use, using the hiding like a mole technique as he went underground. However, Naruto reached in and ripped him out, shocking the snake son as Naruto reached him despite being a far distance away from him. Orochimaru was yanked out of the earth. The moment he was, though, a snake came from his mouth and tried to bite Naruto. However, its teeth shattered on Naruto's skin. As Naruto laughed, Orochimaru was afraid, sweat running down his face. You think you can just do as you like and then be allowed to leave, said Naruto, without speaking to me first. Inside of Naruto's mindscape, Kurama watched as that thing manifested once again. However, this time it was only half. It was only half. It had no right arm or right leg. It still looked like Naruto's size, however its face was still blank, just a swirling abyss of darkness. Whatever this thing was, it was keyed onto his emotions. Despite it now manifesting, it did not fully take him over. Kurama feared what would happen if it completely took over him. This darkness that resides inside of him would eventually cause him to do things that will perhaps end the elemental nation. The kid was already beyond anything that Kurama's ever seen before after putting himself through that hellish training. And now, if this darkness mindset was to take over, who knows what he will become? A force of nature itself. A monster that would not hold its punches back. A beast that could rip this entire world apart. If Kurama could estimate, he would put Naruto near to the source of power from the Jobe, the thing that he resonated from. And yet the kid suppressed himself in a mental way because he's good. That is the point. However, whenever this thing takes over, it did not hold itself back, which turned him into a real monster. That is when he turned his head as he noticed the chains. Once again, those damn chains appearing. The entity rose up. It raised its hand as it created its own black chains that clashed against the golden ones. It seems not everyone wanted him to become dark, Kurama thought to himself. However, he just watched, not really doing anything about it. Back in the outside world, Orochimaru had never felt pain like this before, as he was thrown through trees after trees. It felt like every single bone in his body was destroyed as he was on the ground, In agonizing pain, he had no choice. He reverted to his true form, a gigantic, white snake made of small snakes, his head looking like a creature from those nightmares. As Naruto landed with a grin on his face, "We're not done yet." Several snakes lashed out towards Naruto, however, he simply swatted them away with one hand, creating a giant trench in the process, before he slammed both hands in the ground. The entire thing caved in as Orochimaru fell. He then pulled his fist back as he launched several wind-based punches. Orochimaru screamed out as his body was teared apart as Naruto landed in the dark crevice that he just created. The snake's blood started to release a strange odor that Naruto started to inhale. Orochimaru rise back up. "You might be strong, but you're not unkillable. And now, I know what I have to do. I'll take your body," Orochimaru said. Naruto started to laugh. "No, that's impossible. How? How are you breathing this in?" Orochimaru said, confused as ever. "And what the hell do you think your little poison would do to me?" Naruto asks. "You really think that you're all that, don't you? The snake Sanin. The strongest Sanin you call yourself. However, I'm gonna enjoy." Naruto appeared behind him and gripped the base of his head, tearing you apart. Orochimaru screamed. He screamed and thrashed around as Naruto held on to him and laughed. Orochimaru thrashed as he tried to make Naruto release him, but that was not gonna happen, as Naruto proceeded to rip him apart. Once the two halves were on the ground, Naruto raised his hands and plundered them out of existence. He bashed his fist down so hard, it tore every small white snake, every essence of Orochimaru to pieces. The entire place collapsed, leaving a gigantic trench that was wide as the Valley of the End, right in the forest of Konoha. The forest around Konoha to be exact. As Naruto's grin was still on his face, he wobbled a bit, but not because of the poison, as his face seemed to be regaining some sort of emotion, not this sick twisted joy from killing. However, it returned back to that smile as he took off, arriving to see a horde of sound ninjas trying to flee. His grin seemed to extend before he pulled his fist back and rushed forward. Screams of death and chaos could be heard. Body parts were torn apart. As Naruto was in the process of gripping a sound ninja's neck, he squashed his neck until a guy felt limp in his hands. That is when red chains wrapped around Naruto. As he turned his head, standing there was Kagura. "What are you doing, woman?" said Naruto. "Stop this," she said. "Why?" he asked her. "I'm not talking to you." "Naruto-kun, stop this," she said to him. "This is not you. Do not give in to that darkness inside of you. If you do, it will be too late for everything. I know that you're still in control. You need to wake up inside the mindscape." The entity seemed to fumble a bit before he was grabbed by the golden chains that seemed to suppress him. He screeched and flipped around, however he could not get loose. The chains outside messed with him as well. Over to the far side, the water started gave way as Naruto's body rised up out of the water. As Naruto's eyes slowly opened, once they did, the entity melted away like it was nothing, turned into a black sludge and just vanishing in the water. Out in the outside world, Naruto blinked. "Kagura," he said. She moved towards him. "Are you okay?" she asked. Naruto nodded. What? The memories were there. He knew what he was doing, but it also felt so like he was viewing it from a different point of view. "What the hell was that?" said Naruto. She sighed. "I was hoping to hold this off for a bit longer." "Uzumaki!" As Naruto turned to see Oniki. "Where is she?" he asked as he flew towards him. "She's alright, calm down, old man," said Naruto. "Come with me." Oniki followed Naruto, as the safety of his granddaughter is the only thing that he cared about. Arriving towards their home, Naruto went to his room as he brought her out. In his arms, bridal style, Oniki rushed over as he let Akisaki take her away from Naruto. So she was here all along. No. She was taken by a few sound ninjas, however, I saved her. Oniki looked towards him. Why? What is your obsession with my granddaughter, he said. Naruto wanted to say what he truly felt, however, he bit his tongue. She's someone I saved once before. And despite what you think of me, I'm a good person and don't like to see people get hurt. So you're telling me that this is just a mere coincidence that you happen to want to save her once again? Naruto nodded, but Oniki did not believe him in the slightest. I will be taking her and leave now, Oniki said, as he moved off with the others, leaving Naruto with that sad, depressed look on his face. He had wanted to spend some more time with her. Kagura placed a hand on his shoulder. It's gonna be alright, she said. I'm sure that he will see her again. I hope so, said Naruto. Wait, is the invasion over? He asked. I'm not sure, said Kagura. But you've already done enough. You killed the one that started it, right? Yeah, said Naruto. He tried to take her away and use her, so he deserved whatever he got. As they made their way back out, the place seemed clear. Unknown to Naruto, he slaughtered majority of the sound ninjas that were trying to flee. Arriving out there, Naruto then remembered he's dead. As a hand on his shoulder squeezed it to make sure that he knew that she was here, as that kept him calm. Naruto had no idea what happened to him, but this rage that he's never felt before consumed him. Unknown to him, whenever he is in that state, he did not hold back in the slightest, and he became one of the most dangerous person on the planet. However, soon enough someone would come and challenge him for that title. On the Osusuki planet, a man bowed in front of his king. My lord, we have cordoned off the area to several planets out of our reach. We will be sending several scouters there to check these planets to see if she's in any of them, who would be reporting back instantly. Took you long enough, the king said. His tone was not pleased. You should have found her ages ago. Now go and leave my sight, and the next time you come here, you better come back with good news, or else. Yes, my lord, the man said as he left quickly, sweat on his brow. The king sat in his throne. This wasn't an ordinary man. He was the king of the Osusukis, a man that should be feared, a man that should not be trifled with. However, he hasn't met a single person that could challenge him. For him to, well, have a humble attitude. But soon enough he will find what he was looking for, and he will find it within Naruto Uzumaki himself. A battle that will be greater than any battle that has ever been viewed in the history of anything. Who will be coming out on top? Well, they will both just have to wait until that fight happens. Meanwhile, at the Elemental Nation, as Naruto looked around, Konoha seemed to have pulled out really good. As Naruto noticed everyone looking at him as he walked with Kagura. However, he simply made his way towards the roof. Jiraiya saw him. As Naruto arrived there, as Naruto saw the old man, he was actually dead. Unknown to any of them though, one Sasuke Uchiha was nowhere to be found. However, they will realize that soon. But Sasuke had already been taken. Well, not really taken per se. But you will see next time, guys, because I'm going to be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.